My name is Nakabi Edwin from Wakiso district. I have a physical disability. I'm a bilateral amputee. I'm aged 24. I enjoyed the digital skilling and ADP. Reason being, the ADP makes me aware of my rights that I didn't know earlier.
My name is Nakandi Peru. I'm 24 years old. I have a visual impairment and I come from Kampala district. Mainly what stood out for me is the ADP project. Yes, because of its scope of addressing the problems faced by persons with disabilities, specifically in Africa. And it also presents those articles that really advocate for rights of persons with disabilities.
The best skill was the digital skilling and being an activist, like learning to do advocacy through the media. Yeah, like you use the different platforms like the X to advocate for our rights. Since I've learned the ADP, so it would be of good value to extend the message through different platforms.
My name is Chirabo Dafin Namtevi. I'm 25 years old. I come from Kampala district and a person with albinism. What stood out for me most is understanding disability. Why? Because the different types of disabilities, visible disabilities and invisible disabilities. So understanding disability was the session that stood out most for me. Knowing how to work with different types of people and their disabilities. There are lots of new things. I don't even know what to say. But one thing is, when I came for this project, I didn't know anything about the African Disability Protocol. I didn't even know there's an organization, there's a project that teaches people their rights. That is when I learned about the African Disability Protocol, what it does, excuse me, and why it is in place. This protocol has articles. I didn't know, okay, I knew, but I didn't know how to go about some things, like accessing justice, the right to work, freedom from torture, because most people with disabilities face these things. Don't know how to go about accessing justice, probably taking kids to school, giving them education, giving them the freedom from torture, because people go through a lot of torture. It can be physical, it's emotional, either way it can be economic. So the African Disability Protocol taught me the rights of persons with disabilities, the different articles involved. Now there is this one article, I think it is Article 15, about accessibility. Yes, I knew about accessibility, but I think I needed more knowledge about it. And the session we had discussing this was a good one, because it helped me understand that there are different disabilities and different needs for every disability.
Have now the confidence to share more information about the ADP through social media. The ADP and the UN CRPD have really helped me to know my rights better than even I knew them. Yeah, like non-discrimination, which is Article 5. It tells us or informs us that persons with disability should not be discriminated regardless of their disability, color, race. We have a right to be in the community without any discrimination, or from home. Persons with disability, like children, are kept indoors. When visitors come, they hide them. So that's discrimination. And this Article 5 of the ADP says which is non-discrimination, gives us a right to live without being discriminated. Then the ADP also tells us about the equality, which is Article 6. We are all equal before the law. But when you go in courts, you find that persons with disabilities are not well represented. Like, maybe example, the deaf people, you go to court, there are no interpreters. This person has to go find their own interpreters, which is really expensive for them to get equal rights in law. So Article 6, which is equality, addresses it very well. Then there is Article 16, which is education. We persons with disabilities have a right to be educated, to have good education, to not be illiterate. I got a fever and my parents took me to school. It was God's mercy. But you find that someone wants to learn, they have a disability, they want to study, but parents be like, this one will be of no use. So they don't bother taking a person with disabilities to school. But Article 16, which is education, emphasizes that we persons with disability we have a right to education. Then there is the harmful practice. You know, the ADP really came to help us, like, there are rights for us in the African way, which is not in the UN CRPD. This ADP addresses it very well in the African way. So now harmful practices in Africa, people are killed because of their disability, like people with albinism. They are sacrificed for ritual purposes. Persons with a disability are being left homeless. Some they are abandoned by their parents. Some are killed. So Article 11, harmful practice, gives us the right not to be harmed by the community because of our disabilities. Thank you.
The government should put the African Disability Protocol in action. Yes, it may be in action now, but I think it needs more support. And if the government is there to support, I believe the African Disability Protocol is a good project for the country at large.
I would tell the government to embrace the ADP because Uganda is already ratified. So I would advise it to domesticate the ADP and put it into action.
I call upon the government of Uganda to domesticate the ADP, to put it in place, to be included in the constitution of Uganda, to help us persons with disabilities from discrimination, no education, harmful practices in the environment. And also I call upon the government of Uganda to fund different organizations that are pushing the ADP beyond, to be known by different people in the community, especially persons with disabilities, to know our rights and defend ourselves. Thank you.